Hey, welcome back to part two of my conversation with Mathew Goggin, the founder of 7 Mile Beach. What a course. The story only gets better from here. So strap in. Hope you enjoy it. So we've heard a little bit about what the course is now. You've got another course in development. Tell me a little bit about that and then the vision for the future.
Yeah, so the second course has been cleared, so the North course.
Yep.
That's being done by King Collins Dormer, which is another group out of America. And same thing as with DeVries and Clates. This is sort of their first project outside of America,
Yeah.
so it's a big deal to them.
Yeah.
They want to like all the other great architects have had their opportunity. This is their opportunity. It's kind of why I chose them, because I knew
they'll want to knock it out of the ballpark.
Heart and soul. It's just not another project to them.
Yep.
So that will probably take 2 years, maybe 2.5 years from now until it opens. And hopefully within that same time frame, the main member facility, the main, let's say, Pinnacle House will get built, base camp will get built, and then we're exploring we're halfway through the planning process with accommodations.
Wow.
But that's more of a decision around just how much accommodations you want to try and put here, because from a business standpoint, well, now you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
How do you service all
How do you service all them when we could be like, Hobart's already got that.
Yeah.
We can be golf.
Yep.
So it's you're balancing act. It's like how much of every dollar they spend in Hobart do you want to capture versus whether that capturing that dollar makes you any more dollars.
Yes.
Or whether it's easy to be like hand that off to someone else and just be the core business is golf and light food and beverage, because, food and beverage is a very difficult business.
Really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I've got no experience running a golf course? You should see me try and run a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Restaurateurs can have that.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm interested about you mentioned Hobart.
Yeah.
How integral has collaboration or what support have you got from the wider area in this project, in this business?
I think there's always a lot of skepticism around what we're trying to do. People don't understand it. People think golf, they think fences, and they think, silly trousers and a bunch of stuck-up old white men. You know what I mean? They don't understand golf.
Yeah.
Golf is not that, and especially not these days. Like, it's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Like, I think COVID just introduced so many young people into golf, and golf has sort of gone with them and not pushed against them.
Yeah.
Classically, a lot of clubs would be a bit standoffish and not like kids turning up in Malbon or wearing Sambas or, Gazelles or whatever, Converse to play golf in. While golf course has done a better job of embracing that, and that's just opened it up to a wider, group of people. So, the great thing is golf's really busy.
Yeah.
But still, that doesn't mean that people didn't look at us and think, well, it's never, and because of the time frames, because the planning and just the whole process is so difficult, people just say, well, that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. I mean, I think people still don't think we're open yet. They've heard about it, like local people. They have no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, really, it's now that we're open and people are like, the local golf courses now are having their record green fee months, and that's not because they've done anything. You know what I mean? It's because what we did.
This is a golf trip,
exactly.
Right?
We have like limo drivers and stuff coming down. It's like, oh, you guys are really busy. We're going to have to, do something. It's like, so they have no idea of what they could have front ended it and really actually gone out there, and it's all come to them purely because of what we did. So
wow.
the local, we've done some partnerships with Solomon's Cove Whiskey.
Yep.
And we've done it with the Tasman.
Yep.
And what we're really trying to do is, because as I said, the main focus of the business is sort of that unreasonable hospitality. We want the businesses we partner with have to align with what we're trying to do. So we're basically trying to show people, like, when you come down here, no, this is different.
Yeah. You
stay at the Tasman or Mac 1, you come out here, it's the same level of service from when you get picked up to when you dropped off.
Yep.
It's not just sort of like, going to a golf course that doesn't get it, I guess. So,
out of every book I've mentioned on this podcast, and anyone who's listened to a few episodes will have heard me mention unreasonable hospitality. Like, honestly, I love that you dropped it there, because I'm like, I can see it everywhere, right? And it lit me up reading that from Will, that and the way it could be dispersed, the principles of unreasonable hospitality could be displayed and utilized in any business, is such a no-brainer.
Yes.
You mentioned it before. The experience that someone has here is the most important thing, because that is what makes it worthwhile to deliver something, right?
Yeah, and he talks about hospitality being an act of service.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of really what it's all about. It's not about, and that's why I don't like the whole thing about nickel and diming people and all that sort of stuff. It's like you pay for something and we're going to guarantee you get an awesome service and experience. And I think that's really what it's about.
You have this course has been rated number 3 in Australia. You only opened for public play in December.
It's going higher too. Don't worry about that.
How did that happen? How did you achieve that?
It's been interesting because a lot of it has been a reflection on just what intuitively felt right to me from like a marketing standpoint. And no one did them. Like I did everything. I was a project manager. I did all the Instagram. I did all the podcast. Like no one did anything. I didn't have any advice or anything.
Wow.
But it was just more of a reflection of me. And people kind of, I guess they really enjoyed that. The authenticity of it or whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
But so it's been interesting because we're talking about what we're going to do for the second course. And everyone's like, well, just do what you did for the first course. I'm like, well, it doesn't feel right. Like it just feels like we're in a different place to that. But I think I brought a lot of people along on the journey. They saw it sort of slowly come together. But I mean, it's just spectacular. Like the photos, like you can make anything look good with a drone, right? Like these days, if your golf course doesn't look awesome on your website, you have one of the worst looking golf courses on the planet.
Yeah,
because they all look amazing.
So true.
They all look amazing, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Because most of these places I go to and I look at their website, I'm just like, what? That can't be right.
Yes.
Anyway, but this place is, so a place like this is so photogenic that once you started getting professional drone shots, it's just sort of the hype. Just it was off the charts. It was great.
It ran away.
Yeah.
So,
but then you've also got to meet those expectations.
Yeah.
It can't just be. What I did do is I was very intentional on only showing the same 2 or 3 holes over and over again. I didn't show anything. I still don't. I don't show anything outside. So if I take a picture, it'll be on an Instagram story, so you can't, keep it.
Hold it.
And it'll just say golf hole. It won't say it's the 4th or the 5th. Because all those sort of sleuths, I want to work out, they want to get the routing, they want to form their opinion of everything before they get here and not truly be blown away. And you only get that first chance to have that first impression. And this place is quite shocking because everything leading into this doesn't look like this. So you come in through that crappy road, through the pine trees, you got the sand mines, dead flat, and you're just like, what is, even when you fly in, it looks flat compared to when you get here. But then when you get up there and you get on that second hole and you see the whole scale of everything, it's sort of, that's magical. That's the magic moment. And I think that's sort of,
Yeah. Talk about eye candy. It's phenomenal.
It is. Like, well, to tell you a story, so this was covered in trees. So the pine plantation across the street was a commercial that got cleared every 20 years. So this got photos from the 40s, no pine trees, nothing out here. So basically the trees propagated and took over, but they weren't managed. So some of these trees were 60, 70, almost at the end of their lifespan.
Wow.
We couldn't see the water. We'd go for a walk, we'd get lost, we'd only be 30 yards from each other. Because you're in those dunes and you're over there and there's hundreds of thousands of pine trees and they're 30 metres high and you can't hear each other.
Whoa.
And it'd be like, I'll see you at lunch, basically. We'd come back, meet back at the car. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then during COVID, they got cleared. So none of us could come and visit. And then the superintendent who was down here, he came out after the operation had finished. And he stood up on top of that hill and he said, you're not going to believe this. He just called me straight up and said, you are not going to believe this. Because we didn't know we'd see the water.
No way.
No, there was the 4th tee, which is way up high. You could see out beyond the tops of the trees the water. So we looked at that and we're like, well, we've got to get up here because you've got to get some water views just as part of like sort of the eye candy experience. Then when it cleared, I mean, you see the water on every hole. We absolutely, we had no idea. So it's a complete bonus.
Wow. Talk about bonuses. Now, in the development of the course and the whole journey, what does it actually take resource-wise to build a golf course? Like, how much did all this cost?
Well, I mean, it can. Well, I won't get into too specific, but it's not as much. Like, so when you're building in sand, you don't have to build in drainage. You don't have to build in, especially around the greens and the bunkers. So if you build in clay, you're always the biggest thing they always think about is where's the water going to go?
Yep.
What's the watershed? How do we get it away? How do we get it off the greens, out of the bunkers, and not sort of, flooding when you do get rain, if we ever get any rain. We seem to never get any rain. But if we did, we'd be good because we're on sand, right? So that's sort of like, that creates, that's much cheaper to build a golf course than that.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing is there's, in America, we don't do it so much in Australia, but in America they have these things called USG spec greens, which sort of basically tells you, it's a manual on how you should build a green to meet the specifications of the USGA, which is the United States Golf Association. Yep. And it's a whole lot of sort of drainage and different aggregates and, soil and then sand and all that sort of stuff. It's a really expensive way to build greens.
Right.
But being able to just sort of push a bit of sand, throw some irrigation and hydroseed in is way cheaper. Yes. So when you hear places where it's like it's going to cost us $1 million a hole to build or $1 million a green and all that sort of stuff, like it's nowhere near that.
Wow.
Building it in sand, which is great for a business standpoint.
Yeah.
But this is very much a brownfield site. There's no power, no water, no roads. And those things do get expensive.
Yes, too
So
right.
it's sort of like, it's sort of like chicken and the, it's sort of like the yin and the yang. You sort of have like a golf course that you can build quite cheaply.
Yeah.
But then getting everything here to build it is quite expensive. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You glossed over the process of getting to the development, getting the permits. What were some of the challenges what are some of the major roadblocks that you maybe thought, I don't know if I'm going to get past this?
It's not, the major roadblock is time, right? And it's the wasting of time, which then, like capital, like we live in capital's fluid these days. 30 years ago, it's hard to invest outside of Australia. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, if I have capital, I can invest in any country in the world and send that money in whatever tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's not an appreciation with government that like time is money. It's not even just that it wastes your money, but it also the opportunity, the cycles where people are sort of interested in golf developments or interested or that person is interested in doing it now, but in 5 years' time, they're not interested in doing it. They've lost the appetite and they drop off.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is being able to do things quickly enough to keep investors and capital excited, because as soon as they lose interest, you're not the only thing that they've got going on in their life. Generally, you're like the 20th thing, and it was a bit of fun, and wouldn't this be fun if this happened? Because no one's looking to invest in a golf course project. You know what I mean? It's well outside most people's core business.
Yes.
So that's the trickiest part of it.
Yeah.
And then the general, like the roadblock, there weren't any roadblocks, but again, we're on Crown land. You always need Crown land consent. Or landowners' consent to do anything. So if you want to put that marquee up, you need landowners' consent. Any of that's, well, marquee's temporary, but you know what I mean, like whatever it is. And having a landowner that doesn't understand your project and what it can do just adds delays. And you're not, you're not the only thing they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So what seems like a pertinent issue for you to get done now, so things that you feel like or a day's work, it could be 6 months before you get that day's work done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's really frustrating, and that sort of compounds on, keeping your investors. So really, when we moved away from having a large investor group, and there was just sort of me and my mate, dodging along, trying to get it done. That was a much easier process because if it took forever, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
As frustrating as it was for us, it wasn't other people getting frustrated with us. You know what I mean? It's just me getting frustrated.
Yeah, you had the internal pressure, not the external pressure.
So I was just the one going crazy, not having other people going crazy to me.
I love that. Tell me about water. It takes a lot of water to maintain a golf course. Where's it coming from here?
So we have a large aquifer that runs from here all the way to the airport. It's in the sand. It's fresh water.
Really?
Basically because this is sort of like a dolphin's nose, if you like. So you have the energy from the waves on the south, and then you have the estuary on the north, and they sort of push through the sand, which is a natural filtration, and then the cream on the top has gone through the most amount of sand, is fresh. The biggest challenge we have is like you just can't get it out quickly enough because it is moving through sand. It's not like a well, so you're sort of drawing it through through bores and through open soaks. we couldn't get it out quickly enough to really grow in the turf as aggressively as we wanted to. So that sort of slowed things down as well.
Yep.
But now we sort of do have recycled water line coming in. There's sort of some Tas Irrigation are doing a big project as well.
Yep.
And actually, a lot of the recycled water goes back into the environment in winter. So we're going to sort of build a storage so they can stop putting it in the environment. Then we get to use it as we expand. But yeah, so we have a freshwater aquifer, which we couldn't have done, and we couldn't have got started without it.
Yeah.
But it was probably not it's funny. The minute we started to hit the time when we needed to seed, we had the hottest, driest summer. So we had normally you get about 450 mils of rain, which isn't much. So we had 220 mils our first year.
Ooh.
So I mean that's not a lot of rain, and it doesn't help with your recharge of your bores and all that sort of stuff.
No way.
So that sort of was stressful, but they did a pretty incredible job.
Yeah.
And you know we're sort of 95% of the way there, which probably a year later than I wanted it to be. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, what's another year when you're doing something for 14 years?
That's
15
right.
years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
that's the whole journey.
In the end of 2010, I emailed Mike Clayton, and I think we had our first meeting with the Premier back then, I think in February 2011.
Wow.
And that was the first approach.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So we opened 15 years later.
So it's been a bit of a journey. Did you think or expect it would be this long?
No, wait. It took us 4 years to get the permit, which seemed like a bit of a grind.
Yep.
I was playing on the PGA Tour. I wasn't as involved then. I was just sort of it was my idea, and the guy from my foundation was kind of running it, but I wasn't sort of as involved.
Yep.
Because I was, to me, I had more important things to do because I was trying to be a professional golfer.
Yeah.
And not have too many distractions.
Yeah.
So then when it all sort of slowed down, we didn't get the residential, and it sort of started to dry on the vine a little bit. I was sort of trying to get other investors in, but it wasn't really my sole focus. It was sort of like, if it happens, it was more the time pressure of like, we're going to lose this, and I'm just like, we can't lose it.
Yeah.
That I sort of stepped in.
Wow. And you mentioned you'd done like most of the marketing yourself and the creating the buzz. Like the buzz, I'm sure you're aware, the around this course is global. Like it's, I got back, I run a little a golf brand, and I got back from here, and any content that I shot here outperformed. We have an email EDM like newsletter.
Yeah.
Our open rates were under 10%.
Yeah.
I did an EDM about playing here, 70% open rate. That's the only one that was above 50. And how do you achieve that?
I wish I knew, because
Did you?
Maybe I could sell that. It'd be probably more valuable than the golf course.
Because it honestly, if you could bottle it, then everyone would want some.
Well, I think, early on, it's a very personal project to me, and I wrote a lot myself. When I set up the website, I wrote stories and updates that were very personal, and I think that sort of, gets people in a little bit.
Yep.
There's not a lot of golf course development in Australia. Not a lot of new golf courses coming in.
No.
So we were sort of the first one in a long time, and it was spectacular. So it's sort of like that pent-up demand.
Yep.
Golf had become very popular.
Yep.
The golf landscape, like the media landscape, has become a lot more sophisticated. Whether it's sort of no laying up or fried egg, these sort of like niche media brands that are very much around. It's either the golf bro or sophisticated golf architecture. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of like no laying up, but no laying up is sort of like they did a lot of travel, and it becomes this aspirational golf trips that if you don't quite get to go on, you can watch someone else go on.
Yes.
YouTube blowing up.
Yes.
So all these sort of things, and then COVID, and everyone started playing golf.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden there's this sort of this network effect where if no laying up starts talking about you, then all of a sudden all these other people come and look for you.
Yeah.
And they're just voracious appetite for any of this sort of new content. And then there's also that whole sort of if you know type thing where feeling like you know something that someone else doesn't know about because you're following it.
Yeah.
So I think, so it wasn't like any master strategy. I think it was just sort of where golf was at from a popularity standpoint and where the golf media landscape's at. And Instagram's just such a great platform for images.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing, right?
And, you send out a great picture and it gets picked up, it gets a little bit viral, and then all of a sudden you pick up, followers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing is golf is very popular amongst high-profile athletes. It's like LeBron's playing golf now, which is crazy. But especially in Australia, like all the cricketers, all the footballers, they all play golf.
Yeah.
So they're just as nerdy about golf courses and what's coming on. They know more just about as much as anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I reckon within within a couple of months or within a year of me even talking about it, half the Geelong footy team was following us and talking about it because Chris Scott's mad golfer. Like he loves, like he's obsessed with it. He loves doing it.
Yes.
So he'd be talking about it with all the guys. So they'd be like, "Oh, what's this golf course?" You know what I mean? Like, you can't, if you had to pay for advertising for celebrities, like you couldn't.
No.
You can't do. Like their interest is golf, so you get lucky as far as that goes.
Perfect. What about your journey in business? Tell me a little bit about did you always have your sights set on running a golf course, or
No.
what's your history been?
That's the last thing. I don't want to run a golf course. This is completely by accident. There's three phases, right? There's the using your, like, I guess, my profile in Tassie enabled me to meet with the Premier where someone might not necessarily be able to do that.
Yep.
The fact that it was golf and I wanted to do a golf development, it's a great story to start off with. So using your profile to get in the door, I guess. Then there's the actual construction side of the project.
Yep.
And then there's the operation side of the operation.
Yep.
So I would say my sort of style is to sort of like let experts be experts. So the superintendent, you're in charge of the crew, you do the hiring, whatever. I'm not, So, and so for good or bad, however that ends up looking is due to however that, it's not it doesn't have any my fingerprints on it.
Yep.
It's that person I've hired.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with the golf course. What we did get lucky with is finding a couple of great contractors who, like me, we got on well, and they're like workers, like legit, like, no nonsense.
Yeah.
And they'll just come out and do whatever you need and just do it. So during COVID, and that was just sort of the guy who was doing the bore water for us. I said, I need to build a road. He's like, I'll contact, Pete. I'm like, all right, contract Pete. Pete comes down. Pete's like, a legend and changed the whole, the trajectory of the project.
Wow.
Because he was able to knock out the road and help with the trees and do the burns and find this person. Stuff I couldn't do because I'm having no experience. So it's just getting lucky with those couple of key people.
Yep.
But now we're moving into a transition where it's a serious business and it needs, you have serious director responsibilities. You're having people here now. You have to deal with all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So we've sort of professionalized the business up a lot. Yeah. And again, it's hiring a great CEO. Yeah. So Peter, who, fantastic manager at Victoria Golf Club for a long time. Yeah. He's sort of gone into roles where he sort of comes in for 6 months and sort of, jazzes things up again, make sure everyone's doing everything professionally.
Nice.
So I'd spoken to him when the project was in its infancy, but it kind of got to the point where I don't live here. I can't run this operation. And there's too many parts of the business that I don't have any experience in, which I have to not have a say in, basically. And it's hiring the right people then. So again, it's like hiring an expert to be an expert. So we got to that point and, we've got Peter down here and he's fantastic. And then
Legend.
Then he can take over the operations.
Yep.
And I can concentrate. I mean, I really see my role is more just on the big picture. Obviously I have a lot of expertise now on the planning side of things and like dealing with consultants, which is a bonus. So we don't have to hire anyone to do that.
Yep.
But it's more just sort of big picture, strategic, stupid ideas. What's the next crazy thing we're going to do? And then do it that way, as opposed to the day-to-day nitty-gritty.
That is the fun, wonderful bit, right?
But there's hundreds of decisions you make along the way that they've been very intentional. It's even down to whether it's red and white flags, like visually.
Yep.
Like there's so many options you can have. What the team markers look like. Yeah. Whether the whole idea around all-inclusive green fees, you know, the merchandise, the branding we want to have. Everything's sort of built around, like, we're trying to do something a little bit more elevated, a little bit more special, a little bit more hospitality focused. So then every decision you make has to reflect that.
Yeah.
So I sort of set all that up, but now we've got people in who are, you know, to keep pushing that side of it as well.
From the brand side of things, I love the brand. It's got a bit of cheek to it, right?
Yes.
And how did you land, and what was the process and the journey on that side of things?
So when we were doing a launch, I did a quick sort of like Fiverr or something. One of those, like, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
And it was funny. I'm like, we just need a quick brand launch. And there was like 6 or 7. I got my friends to pick one. We picked one. It was like, that was just for the brand launch. And anyway, and it was never really seriously considered to be the logo, but it just had to be something, right?
Yes.
And then Nick Mills out of Sandbuilt Studios, which is like he's just a young guy in Melbourne.
Yep.
He likes to do these retakes of logos in like what the classic form was of like golf logos, from famous old golf logos from the 30s, 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you know, it sits on Tiger Head Bay, 7 Mile Beach. No one calls it Tiger Head Bay.
No.
Right, but like it sits on Tiger Head Bay. He said, well, ever thought about doing like a tiger head or some sort of tiger? And I'm like, well, every brand in Tasmania is a Tasmanian tiger or a Tasmanian devil. It's a little bit overdone. But I basically said, look, do one. I said, but what I want it to be is I want it to be like Lacoste, or like, I don't want it to say, you know, so this hat's the only one that says 7 Mile Beach on it. So the logo is just, I just wanted it to be something that.
The brand mark.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't say golf.
Yeah.
And if it was on a cool hoodie or something, people would be like, well, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm at a golf club. You know what I mean? It's really only the golf club's the only thing that defines it as golf. But I kind of told him sort of a little bit, like, want it to be like Lacoste. So then he came back with basically this first go. You know what I mean? And it does have that. So in the way, the style of those old things, he does sort of redo them in sort of a bit of a cheeky cartoonist way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was like, well, no, this is perfect. So we just landed on that. You know,
I love it when it works first
time.
Yeah,
it's great. And it's funny because when I was talking about doing a potential, we decided not to do a second logo because this is 7 Mile Beach. The beach on the other side's 5 Mile Beach. So naturally you'd be like, and the thing is, 2 of the biggest cliches in the world, calling your golf course something beach and then having a Tassie Tiger as your logo. It's like, you know, it's like the bingo card of, you know, cliches. But and that's so that's 5 Mile Beach, and we're like, we'll do another logo. But then we sort of thought, like, it's a bit confusing when people are like, are you playing 7 Mile or 5 Mile? Where is it? And then we thought, actually, just from a branding perspective, it's simple to just have one brand. 7 Mile. It'll be north and south. And that's it. But when he was thinking about doing the 5 Mile, I think he was almost a little bit like, I kind of did the first one so good. He's going to expect something just as good as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pressure.
Exactly.
The pressure.
The pressure.
Feeling it.
Exactly.
He feels it. Would have done a little phew when you
said,
look,
because it was interesting because there was a vote, I think, on Twitter or X, maybe within a year of this being launched. Yeah. And it was independent of us, and it was like world's best golf logos. We didn't even have a golf course yet.
Really?
And it went up against, it ended up being like finishing second or won the world's best golf logo. And it's like, this is crazy. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been such a great conversation. I could honestly talk for another hour, but I want to ask you, round this episode out with some keys of wisdom or learnings that you've gained over the time that you would say has been crucial to the success so far of 7 Mile Beach.
I think you have to, I don't think you need to seek out outside expertise too much. I think you just have to, I think most good businesses start with that sort of like that founder mentality of like having to do it all and learn. Like, you need to know about every part of your business. You need to know about every, and if you don't know, just push on and learn. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about any of this. And as I said, the unintended consequences, you become an expert and have all this sort of IP about stuff. Yes. And being able to sit in a meeting and talk to the guys at Taswater or Tas Networks about everything to do with their business. Just because I've just had to learn. I think that's more valuable than kind of just sitting back and then just I think you've got to know about your business. Like you have to. You just have to.
The ins and outs.
The ins and outs.
Yep.
Of even just the most mundane things.
Yeah.
Except I'm still terrible on the point of sale, but I'll work on that. Still don't putting up. Yeah, I'm no good at that.
Don't get Matt.
Don't get Matt to like. Yeah, we'll lose a hell of a lot of money. Yeah, if you want me to tat.
What is a zero there somewhere? Nah,
Exactly,
don't worry about it.
Fine. Just take it. The other day, there's some guys in there the other day. It was the end of the day, and our staff was off doing something else. They came over like, "Can I have a couple of beers?" I was actually making myself a coffee. So, "Can I have a couple of beers?" I'm just like, "I can pour you a beer, no worries. So just take it." I don't know how to make you pay for it.
That's a classic founder owner move. It's like, yeah, it's a beer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't work here.
No,
I just own it.
Exactly.
That's great. Anything else that you can leave us with in terms of what you've gained in terms of business wisdom?
No, I mean, this whole project was premised on this is an amazing piece of property. I have no interest in being a golf course developer.
Yep.
I don't. I mean, I'm doing it twice now, but
yes.
But the reality is that the only reason this would work is if the thing that you're underlying or underpinning is world class.
Yep.
If it's not world class, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's the same in other businesses, but
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. What is your hope for the future and your vision?
We want to create the best golf experience, one of the best golf experiences in the world, and definitely the best in Australia.
It has already been mentioned and touted far and wide that 7 Mile Beach will be the top 10 in the world before too long. What does it make you? How does it make you feel to hear that reflected back to you?
I mean, like, as I said, I spend more time. I can't accept praise. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of just my. I see all the problems. I see all the things we've got to fix, and like I had this. I've got some like nice wine that I'm saving for when to celebrate.
Yeah,
and there still hasn't been a reason to celebrate. Which is, I think I should.
To your standards.
I think I need to go to a therapist or something because I'm sure I should have celebrated.
I'm sure there's been some good reasons.
So
Matt.
there's something, So that's a me problem. But yeah,
Matt, thanks so much. It's been really cool hearing your perspective as the founder of this course and your journey so far. And I've really heard the value of getting the right people around you, and it's a common one, but it's displayed in what the course looks like, and your vision being delivered to the public and to patrons is shown through the people that you've got on board along on the journey.
You.
So
hopefully it won't be too windy for you tomorrow, and you'll have a good day.
Cannot wait.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, look, this is going to be so cool. One of my favorite episodes yet.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming down.
Well, that's it on today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you are listening, then please make sure that you follow the show, Remarkable Regional Business Podcast, so that you get new updates on when we release episodes. We've got a lot of limited series coming up, so don't miss out on those. And if you are watching, that's right, this podcast is video as well. If you are watching this episode, then please, on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the little bell so you know when the next episode is dropping. That'd be so good. And please, the last thing I want to ask you is, do you know a remarkable regional business? If you do, and you want an insight into their story and to see them platformed on this podcast, then please dob them in. You can go to hebronfilms.com/podcast to do that.